Hello everyone, hope things are well. Never a video I felt like I would be making as a Newcastle United content creator, but of course as someone who does attend every single Newcastle United game while also using public transport to the matches, I felt like it would be appropriate for me to be transparent, to show my responsibility, just to let you all know what's been going on. I feel like, of course, I always like to tell you what's been going on in terms of my travel experiences. We've got Newcastle fans watching this video who might not use public transport much, might be outside the UK, wanting to potentially go to games in the UK. So I feel like just for the sake of what's been going on over the past couple of days, it's important to let you all know what has been happening, because I was lucky. I was real lucky. I had a potential possibility of being on board that train, the 6:25 p.m. service, linear train from Doncaster down to London King's Cross. If you were watching my overnight stay vlog a couple of days ago, you would have known I stayed in Doncaster on Friday night, and I also used a linear train service from Doncaster down to London King's Cross on the Saturday. My service was the 11:56 a.m. I booked a morning train. I was lucky enough not to be on that particular train in the evening time. However, I actually used to book the late trains. I'll explain why in a bit, why I don't do that anymore. And unfortunately, this is the first real time where something like this has directly affected a Newcastle United match. So I felt like now is the appropriate time for me to address it and just get through everything. In terms of the incident, now I am recording this video at 7 p.m. on this Sunday night. That is important, remember that, because especially with how things have been displayed across social media over the past 24 hours, this has been an ever-changing story and it will continue to change. So it may be outdated bits in this video. So make sure when you are done watching this to, of course, go and check it online for yourselves. But as I stated before, 6:25 service from Doncaster was heading down to London King's Cross. It stopped at Peterborough, and at the time it was deemed that two individuals had boarded the train at Peterborough, hid in the toilet, and then once the train began to move, then proceeded to come out with knives and then stabbed what was being described to be 10 individuals. 9 at the time were deemed to have life-threatening injuries. It has now been stated that it has went down to 2 life-threatening injuries, so it wasn't actually as bad as initially stated. Only 1 individual is still currently under a life-threatening condition, and that is actually a linear staff member who went out of their way to deliberately block the knife in order to try and save lives, and has saved lives, because after further information has been disclosed, it was actually only 1 attacker. So a 32-year-old black male who was born in the UK was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. There was also a 35-year-old male of Caribbean descent. He was later let go from the police, as it's now been confirmed that he was not an attacker. Only 1 attacker, and it was the 32-year-old male as I just described there. As I mentioned with the linear worker, so of course he was blocking the knife and making sure that that individual was unable to stab any further people, and actually did his job and protect the public, and what is a true heroic act. And I think the most miraculous thing about this entire incident is the fact so far 0 confirmed deaths, 10 stabbed, 0 confirmed dead so far, which I think is the true miracle. So fingers crossed goes to the remaining linear staff member, who of course is currently still under emergency circumstances, so hopefully they can pull through, and then everyone from that situation would have walked away alive, which is the most important part, which also reinforces a message to the attacker where you failed. You went on that train, you stabbed 10 people and you failed. And that's the real message. And I do have to say, in terms of the emergency services and everything involved, 8 minutes after 999 was called, police got on the train made an emergency stop at Huntington. Of course, then we had armed forces go on board and just solve the situation. We've got it under control, and as far as an incident goes, and especially after hearing these related incidents over the years, certainly what about outcomes? Haven't seen one this positive in a while, and unfortunately it's just a real shame that it's happened. And I think the scary part of it is when you actually look a bit more into it, you look into why this is happening, you look into where this has happened as well. You're talking an individual getting on a Peterborough train station late at night and conducting this action from Peterborough down to London. I mean, it's not the busiest service out there. In fact, and this is the first point of why I was not on this train, was the fact that it's the trains were actually had engineering works on the weekend. So Doncaster was the first possible stop direct passengers could get on, go down to London. So for Newcastle fans, most of them probably wouldn't have went down that way, but you had to get off at Darlington or Leeds and then switch to go on a coach down to Doncaster and then go back onto the train. So the inconvenience and just the awkwardness of the trip this weekend has unironically actually benefited Newcastle fans and perhaps made the trains a bit less busy in the end. For Newcastle fans watching this video, as far as I'm aware, no Newcastle fans involved with the incident. There may or may not been Newcastle fans on the train, but everyone is at least well, no one is seriously hurt amongst our fan base. And that was the first real reason why I was not on that train, because of the fact that I actually had to stay an extra night in Doncaster, which meant that, of course, when I woke up in the morning, I got an earlier train down. And I'm lucky because of the rail engineering works, it's actually changed my travel schedule so that I wasn't on a late train because I've already stayed in Doncaster and then made an earlier train. The second reason being, I've actually brought back the overnight stay vlog series for 2 away days. So I brought it back for the Brighton away day. Initially what I would do, because I originally retired the series in the UK because it was a bit formulaic, I was doing the same things. It was at that case where I felt like I wanted to change things up. So what I used to do for away days for the likes of London, I actually did come on the nighttime trains. I would just come down the nighttime, stay in a hotel, go to the game and then stay an extra night and go back. I always used to come on the nighttime trains when I didn't do overnight stay vlogs. Because of the way I record videos, produce videos, of course, I come down early for the overnight stay vlogs, recorded during the day, and then it gets uploaded the evening time. So when I wasn't doing overnight stay vlogs, I was booking the late off-peak times, and I was purposely coming down in late trips because I didn't want to stay down south for too long. I like being home, I like being in Newcastle. So because of the fact I brought the overnight stay vlog series back, I've actually go on earlier trains now. That's, I swear down, that is honestly the main reason why I wasn't on a later train, because of the fact that I make the overnight stay vlogs. That is generally why I go on earlier trains, which is again, it's just luck. It is sheer luck. Everything about this, I can talk through it all day long, and we can look and we can analyse and we can look at our travel schedules all we want. It is pure luck at this rate, and that's how it feels like. When I actually found out on the night time in my hotel room that the train from Doncaster to London, it was that exact same train route late in the evening where this attack took place, my heart dropped. I've never felt fear like it, and it was the worst feeling I've ever felt. It's so hard to describe. It's just like everything just stops in a moment, and despite the fact in my hotel room everything's fine, I was scared. I was properly scared, and I couldn't imagine what it would have been like for people on that train. I couldn't imagine what it would have been like for the staff members at Linear, people who just turn up to work and just do their jobs and be able to provide money for their own children, their own families, and for those who just want to travel and see their families. People who just go on a train because they want to get to a destination, and you can't even do that now without the fear of being attacked. You look last week, you look at the poor individual who walked his dog out in London and died. You know, someone murdered him because he was walking his dog out, who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. How is that old news? We're already talking about something else, and that from last week is already old news. And the reality and the true scare factor to it is, well, what's next? What is stopping someone from potentially going to a venue or going to a football stadium or going to somewhere where there's thousands and thousands of people? Because you would imagine in their mindset they want to try and potentially do it in the busiest area possible, or to do it to get the most attention possible. And when does it stop? Basically, when does it stop? And that's the unfortunate truth to it. And as someone that's been going to Newcastle games this season, it's actually the second time, believe it or not, it's the second time we've had an attack that's directly happened around my travel schedule and around when I'm travelling to games. So I came back from Brussels, of course, the Union SG game in Belgium. So my travel plans for that game was to go to Manchester, which I did. We then got a flight from Manchester to Brussels, return flight, got to Manchester. Second to get off the plane, there's actually announcements being made amongst the airport because of a terror attack at a synagogue in the north of Manchester. Of course, you remember that well, had somebody going around stabbing as a religious personnel, and what was just a brutal attack in Manchester. And that happened when I just got off my plane from Brussels. Like, I'm actually in and around the area, and our travel plans, getting the car back home, of course, was disrupted when they closed the roads for a brief period of time. And that was the first time, and this is the second time. You're talking twice in 2 months, and it's, I mean, all I'm doing is just going to London to go to the West Ham game, and even then, you're just talking luck, and you're talking me being on an earlier train, exact same train route, and I was just fortunate enough where I wasn't on it. That's all I can say. I was lucky because of how my personal travel schedule is, and there's just no way you can predict it. You can be as careful as you want, but you just don't know when it's going to happen, unfortunately. And I want to mention a few points now, because I don't want this video to all be down, but I think the obvious point is just to take away, just look after your family, go see your family. I feel like you can only truly appreciate your family when you've lost them, or when you maybe seen them potentially be around a situation like this. You know, go home, go see them, go spend some time with them, do the things they want to do, go enjoy your life. Now, we'll say this now, do the things you want to do. If you've got a bucket list, you've got a list there that you want to do in your lifetime, make sure you go and do it, because you just aren't ever guaranteed that tomorrow. And I don't want to make this a depressing video, but you should be happy where things are now, be happy how your family's doing now, and just be happy with the situation you're in now, because you just never know when things are out of your control. So make sure when things are in your control, go out there and make the most out of it, enjoy the things, and just do the things that you want to personally do. But finally, in terms of Newcastle United fans that went to the game, so it did directly affect the West Ham game. Of course, Linear then today issued statements saying that we are advising you not to travel, but of course limited services were still available. So fans essentially had the choice on whether or not they wanted to attend the West Ham game. A lot of Newcastle fans still use the train to get down here. Some of them decided to go with Linear's travel advice and to not do it. And in the end, obviously with the 3-1 loss, those who decided to stay home probably got the best outcome from this situation. But I think the fact that even when you look at the away end, so for me there were a good amount of empty seats in the away end. Some of those might be linked to something else, but of course there's at least some in there that decided not to go because of the incident yesterday. And I think the fact that not even hundreds of people, like just one, I think the fact that even one person's decided not to go to a Newcastle United match because they are scared, or because of the fact that travel schedules that have been changed because of an attack have changed their mind, I think is truly horrific to see. And we never ever want to see supporters be afraid to support our football team, and that's just not on. That's just not on at all, and things need to change without going politically, because I don't want to bring politics into this video, you guys. Of course, I'm here to watch football content. But in terms of final messages, I'm glad to hear everyone's recovering so far, with the exception of the one Linear staff member. Hopefully they can pull through. But other than that, I think that's the best part of the entire thing, is the fact that there's been so few casualties, and especially how things first were reported on social media. We certainly have got a better outcome than what it could have been. So yeah, well done to everyone involved, well done to the services, because lives have been saved. I think it's that simple to say. I think Linear staff members and the authorities have been able to stop people from suffering such a horrific fate. So yeah, well done, I guess, is my final message. And just for you guys watching, apologies for this kind of video. Obviously not something I wanted to make, but I feel like I wanted to tell you personally, because I just got lucky. I could have been on there and I wasn't. So yeah, it was just lucky, and I'm certainly hoping that my luck doesn't run out one day. But yeah, again, I think the best thing to say is I just want nothing like this to happen. I wish I could just come out in the video now and just say that that's the last time it's ever going to happen. We have any attacks in this country, we could just never ever experience it again. That's what I would love to say, but of course we all know, I think no one's naive enough to believe that nothing else is going to happen again. So yeah, we just have to prepare for it. We have to be better with it. I think we need to be better protected as well, I guess, is my final comment. But take care, guys. Let me know your opinions down below. Apologies again, but I felt like I wanted to make this video just sort of inform you all, and just to let you all know how things have been Newcastle United fans this weekend.